The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky as Captain Elias Ward gazed out of the cockpit of the intrepid Voyager. Humanity had ventured far from its home planet, pushing beyond the known regions of space. The Zelvian system was one of the last uncharted territories, a cluster of planets rumored to be rich in resources, but also home to the mysterious Zelvian Empire. Very few humans had seen it, and fewer still had returned. Elias had been chosen for this mission because of his experience in exploration and diplomacy. Humanity had learned that brute force alone would not win allies or even survival in the Outer Rim. He trusted in human curiosity, intelligence, and the stubborn courage that had always defined his species. Tonight, as he stared at the approaching system, a mix of excitement and tension knotted in his chest. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her voice steady but tinged with concern, "we're entering orbit around Zelvia 3. Sensors are picking up life forms below. Highly intelligent biosignatures. Possibly sapient." Elias nodded slowly, gripping the edge of his console. "Good. Prepare the landing team. We'll approach carefully. I want to observe first. No sudden moves. Remember, we're visitors here, not conquerors." The intrepid Voyager descended through thick clouds, revealing a world of vibrant forests that glowed faintly in shades of blue and green. Towering trees stretched toward the sky like ancient spires, and streams of luminous water reflected the twin moons above. Elias had expected wild landscapes, but nothing like this. The air was rich with strange scents, sweet and pungent at the same time. Even from orbit, he could sense the intelligence of this world. "Sensors are detecting movement," said Mara. "Something or someone is approaching the landing site." Elias squinted toward the clearing ahead. A small figure emerged from the trees. At first he thought it was a juvenile Zelvian, but as it stepped into the light, he saw features both alien and strikingly delicate: soft lavender skin, large amber eyes, and hair that shimmered like molten silver. She stopped at the edge of the clearing, staring at the human ship with curiosity and caution. "Stay calm," Elias whispered to his crew. "We don't know how she'll react." He exited the ship slowly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. The little Zelvian tilted her head, her eyes wide. She spoke, but the words were broken, almost musical, unlike anything he had heard before. Yet somehow, he understood. "Father?" she said, her voice small and unsure. Elias froze. "Did she just—" Mara's astonished expression mirrored his own. "She called you father?" "I think so," Elias said, keeping his voice gentle. "But I don't know why." The girl hesitated, stepping closer. There was a faint scar on her arm, a mark of something she had survived. Elias could see fear and loneliness in her eyes, and instinctively he reached out a hand. "It's okay. You're safe now." After a tense moment, she placed her tiny hand in his. Her grip was surprisingly strong, and a shiver ran down Elias's spine. Something about this moment felt larger than any exploration he had ever undertaken. He didn't yet know why, but he knew humanity had just made a first, and perhaps unprecedented, contact with a member of a ruling alien family. "Captain," Mara whispered, "we need to report this. The Zelvian Empire, they might notice her absence." Elias shook his head. "Not yet. Let's understand her first. If she's truly alone, we may be the only ones who can protect her." Over the next few days, Elias learned that the girl's name was Lyria. Her Zelvian language was complex, filled with sounds that rolled and danced in ways human ears struggled to reproduce. But her understanding of human speech was remarkable. Within hours, she was picking up simple words, repeating them with astonishing accuracy. More astonishingly, she seemed curious about everything, how the ship worked, how humans ate, how they slept, even why they laughed. Elias and his crew soon realized that Lyria was no ordinary child. Her intelligence and emotional awareness were far beyond what they expected. She understood danger and trust in ways that even some adults struggled to comprehend. When Elias taught her about human customs, she absorbed them eagerly, often asking questions that made him pause. One evening, Elias sat with her under the glowing canopy of the alien forest. Lyria was drawing patterns in the soft sand with a stick, patterns that resembled star maps. "Those are constellations," Elias said, pointing to the shapes. "Humans like to look at them and imagine stories." Lyria tilted her head. "Stories? Like the ones you tell?" "Yes," Elias smiled. "Stories about courage, about love, about how humans try to help each other, even when it's hard." She paused, considering the words, then whispered, "I like that. Humans are brave." Elias felt a warmth in his chest. He knew that the Zelvians valued strength and intelligence. But bravery combined with empathy, that was uniquely human. He realized in that quiet moment that Lyria was beginning to see humans not just as creatures of flesh, but as a species capable of profound goodness. However, not all was peaceful. Unbeknownst to the crew, the Queen of the Zelvians had been observing from afar. Her curiosity about this unusual human quickly turned into alarm. Reports from her spies indicated that her daughter, heir to the Empire, had been spending time with a human and calling him father. This was a concept she had never considered, a human influencing her child, shaping her thoughts and emotions. The Queen's fury was tempered by confusion. She had always believed that humans were primitive, impulsive, and dangerous. Yet the reports described kindness, patience, and an uncanny ability to teach and guide. These were not traits she had expected from an outsider. Back on the planet, Elias continued to build trust with Lyria. He taught her how to read basic star charts, how to understand gravity wells, and even simple engineering concepts. She was a quick learner, often surprising the crew with innovative ideas. Mara remarked that she had never seen a child, human or alien, pick up knowledge so rapidly. One day, while exploring a glowing river, Lyria hesitated at the edge. "Captain, you stay?" she asked, using the word she had repeated countless times in the past week. "I'm right here," Elias replied. "You're safe with me." Her small hand found his again, and she smiled, a gesture so human it made Elias pause. This bond, he realized, went beyond words or even species. It was trust, unconditional and pure. Night fell, and the forest came alive with sounds and lights unlike anything humans had ever experienced. Elias looked at Lyria sleeping peacefully in the makeshift quarters, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. Protecting her was no longer just a duty, it was a mission of the heart. He thought about the consequences. The Zelvian Empire was vast and powerful. If they discovered a human raising their heir, the reaction could be hostile. But Elias also knew that this child, this bridge between species, represented the best humanity could offer: courage, empathy, and the will to do what was right, no matter the danger. The night sky sparkled through the transparent dome of the landing module. Lyria stirred in her sleep, murmuring, "Father, human." Elias held her hand gently. "Yes, I'm here, always." Somewhere in the distance, hidden in shadows, the Queen observed. Her shock was growing. Why did her daughter call this human father? What strange power did he hold that could make a Zelvian child trust and love an outsider? Questions like these filled the Queen's mind, questions that would shape the coming days and change the course of the Zelvian Empire forever. For now, though, Elias focused on the present. Humanity had reached this distant world, not with weapons, but with patience, understanding, and a willingness to connect. And in the heart of a foreign forest a child slept, dreaming of stars, stories, and a father she had chosen herself. Little did they know, this quiet beginning would become a legend across the galaxy. A tale of humans proving that courage, kindness, and love could cross even the greatest divides. Days passed on the strange, glowing world of Zelvia 3, and Elias grew closer to Lyria. Each day brought new discoveries, new lessons, and a deeper connection. She learned quickly, absorbing everything the human captain taught her, from the simplest human games to complex ideas about physics and engineering. Her curiosity seemed endless, her questions sharp and thoughtful. One morning, Elias found Lyria crouched by a stream, watching the water swirl around stones that glowed with faint bioluminescence. She was fascinated by the movement, tilting her head as if trying to understand some hidden rhythm in the current. "Good morning, Lyria," Elias said gently. "What are you thinking about?" "Why water moves like this," she replied. "Why it dances and flows. Humans. They understand." Elias smiled. "Yes, humans study water. We call it fluid dynamics, but mostly, we just watch and wonder." She blinked her wide amber eyes, processing the words. "I want to understand like you, Father Human." Elias's heart tightened at her choice of words. "Then we will learn together," he said. "You are very smart, Lyria. You will understand everything if you try." Over the next week, Elias taught Lyria how to read the stars and navigate using constellations. She showed an uncanny memory for patterns, tracing lines across the sky with her small fingers, connecting stars with imaginary threads. Sometimes she would laugh when she got one wrong, a pure, joyful sound that seemed to brighten the alien forest around them. But while Elias and Lyria grew closer, trouble was brewing beyond the trees. High above the planet, the Queen of Zelvia observed from her starship. Her eyes, sharp and glowing, followed her daughter's every move. At first, she had felt only anger. How dare a human touch her child? How dare he teach her things, call her father? But as she watched, confusion began to take root. Lyria's laughter, her intelligence, her bravery, all of it came from Elias, the human. And yet, the child seemed happier than she had ever been before. The queen did not understand. She had been raised to believe humans were dangerous and weak, incapable of guiding a Zelvian child. But Elias was proving her wrong. She summoned a holographic display, calling forth her advisors. "Tell me," she said, her voice cold but trembling, "what is this human doing to my daughter?" An advisor hesitated. "Your Majesty, he teaches her. He listens to her. He encourages her curiosity. It is unprecedented." "Unprecedented," the Queen repeated. "That is exactly my point. A human. My daughter calls him father. This should not be." "But, Your Majesty," another advisor said carefully, "the child is learning, growing. Perhaps there is value in what the human is giving her." The Queen's eyes narrowed. Value? Could a human provide value to a Zelvian heir? The thought was both frightening and impossible. Still, a part of her could not deny what she had seen. The light in Lyria's eyes when she was with Elias, the joy she showed, the wisdom she began to display. Meanwhile, on the planet, Elias continued to teach Lyria. One afternoon, he showed her a simple human puzzle. It was a cube with rotating faces, each side marked with symbols. Lyria's small fingers twisted the pieces, her face furrowed in concentration. "Almost there," Elias encouraged. "Remember to think ahead. Plan your moves." Lyria paused, then moved the last piece into place. "Done!" she exclaimed, holding up the cube. Elias clapped. "Well done! You are very clever, Lyria. Humans are proud of clever minds like yours. She smiled, then asked softly, Why are humans so brave? Elias was taken aback. She had asked a question far deeper than any puzzle. He knelt beside her, looking at her glowing eyes. We are brave because we care, Lyria. We try to protect others, even when it is difficult or scary. Bravery comes from the heart, not the body. Lyria thought about this in silence. Then she whispered, I want to be brave, like you. The words pierced Elias's heart. He had always thought of bravery as human, but here was a child from another world, looking to him as a guide, willing to learn courage and kindness. But their peaceful days were about to change. Scouts of the Zelvian Empire had noticed Lyria's absence and reported to the Queen. Rumors spread rapidly through the starship. A human was not just near her daughter, he was influencing her. The Queen's anger flared. She called for a ship to intercept Elias's landing site. Bring him to me, she commanded. I need answers. Why does my daughter call him father? When the scouts approached, Elias was already aware of the danger. We need to be careful, he said to Mara and the crew. The Zelvians respect power. They may attack if they feel threatened. But we cannot leave Lyria alone. She trusts me. That is everything right now. The scouts landed nearby, but they did not advance immediately. From their distance, they observed Elias and Lyria. The Queen's child was laughing, pointing at a bird that shimmered like liquid metal as it flew overhead. Elias was teaching her to identify patterns in its flight, to notice small details humans often overlooked. A scout whispered, Captain, look at her. She calls him father. She seems happy, but the Queen will not understand this. Elias nodded grimly. Then we must prepare for her arrival. But I will not let them take her by force, not while I am here. That night, Elias sat near the campfire with Lyria. The alien forest glowed softly around them, and the sounds of nocturnal creatures filled the air. Lyria leaned against him, her small head resting on his shoulder. Father human, she whispered sleepily, why do they not like you? Elias smiled gently. Because they do not understand yet. Sometimes people fear what is different, but you understand. That is why I am here, to help you, to protect you, and to teach you. She smiled, eyes closing, drifting into sleep. Elias watched her, feeling a protective warmth stronger than anything he had ever known. The stakes were higher now. The Queen's arrival was imminent, and conflict was likely. But Elias did not waver. He had humanity on his side, curiosity, empathy, courage, and he would not fail this child. When dawn broke, the sky lit with twin suns, the Queen's ship appeared in the distance. It shimmered with power and authority, casting a shadow over the alien forest. The air seemed to hum with tension. Lyria stirred, sensing something different. Father, human, she said softly. They come? Yes, Elias replied calmly. Stay close to me. No one will hurt you. The Queen descended in her shimmering vessel. Her form was regal and imposing, radiating authority. Her eyes locked onto Lyria, and then, finally, onto Elias. For a long moment, neither spoke. Why does my daughter call you father? The Queen demanded, her voice a mix of fury and disbelief. Elias stepped forward, hands raised to show he meant no harm. She calls me father because I care for her, because I teach her, and because she trusts me. Nothing more, nothing less. The Queen's gaze softened slightly as she looked at her daughter. Lyria smiled up at Elias, completely at ease, and the Queen saw the transformation herself. Her child was brighter, happier, more confident. But the thought of a human shaping her daughter's mind still frightened her. Elias continued, his voice steady and calm. Love guidance, and care are not limited to species. I do not replace you. I only help her grow. That is all. The queen took a step back, conflicted. Rage and fear warred with awe and curiosity. She had always believed humans were weak and dangerous, yet here was proof that they could nurture, teach, and inspire. The tension between them was electric, but Elias remained calm. He knew that words alone would not convince her. Actions would. He had to show her, not just tell her, that humanity's greatest strength lay in its courage, empathy, and will to protect the innocent. As the first rays of the twin suns touched the glowing forest, the scene was set. A human and a Zelvian child stood together, facing the most powerful ruler in the galaxy. And for the first time, the queen realized that this meeting might change not only her daughter's life, but the future of her entire empire.